Welcome back, everybody. This is Bite Size Media, a subsidiary of Off Slate Media. In the words of an old friend of ours, I'm Jared, this is Jake, and we're watching Star Wars Visions. This week, the 5th episode of the 2nd season, the 14th overall, is titled Journey to the Dark Head, animated by Studio Mir, I believe, M-I-R, and I was looking at some of the stuff they've worked on. They did a bunch of animation services and pre-production assistant for The Legend of Korra. They also worked on Season 4 of The Boondocks, some Young Justice stuff in the last 5-6 years. They've been working on the 3rd and 4th season of The Harley Quinn show. They worked on X-Men 97. Some of the movies they worked on are The Death of Superman, a bunch of Mortal Kombats. Looks like a Watchmen thing as well. Just kind of those sorts of stuff, just giving their services to a bunch of just TV shows and comic book stuff. And you have the thing in front of you. What does the animation look like?
Anime.
Just anime?
From the little title card that I can see. Just an anime.
Gotcha. So that's yeah. So we've both seen some of that stuff that I listed. Both of us have seen The Legend of Korra, which it doesn't look like they were the main animator. They were animation assistants.
This one has how in the 2 it has that kid with all the white hair?
Yeah.
This is his episode.
Okay, the white-haired kid. Gotcha. I'm looking at the cast, and the only one I recognize for the English cast is Daniel Day Kim. And
really?
Yeah, it says he's a character named Bishan, I believe is how it's pronounced.
I would guess that would be the bad guy.
Probably. I love Daniel Day Kim.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Lost is what I know him from. It's been a long time since
you also know him from Avatar: The Last Airbender, but you haven't watched the live action one.
No,
so.
But he's Ozai.
Yes, he's very good, Ozai. It's one of the best parts of that show.
He's a good-looking Ozai, too.
He is where the term Zaddy comes from.
Anyway.
I don't think that's true, but...
So, yeah, that's our episode this week. I don't have any other background information on this. It is Korean, I believe. It is telling me there's a Korean cast, yep. And then there's the episode, the Korean language, it says right there for me. So, yeah, excited to check this one out. You got anything else to add?
Not really. I'm excited. Looking at what we have left, I think this will be one of my more favorite ones.
All right.
Just based on title card alone, or thumbnail alone.
Well, let's get into it. Let's
take a bite.
Welcome back. We just watched Journey to the Dark Head, and as with most of the shorts we've seen, I like it. I'd take a whole series. This one, I think, even might have when I say movie potential, I was going to say would work more as a movie.
I was thinking I'd like it more as a movie.
You got
it definitely gives Korra vibes.
Yep.
Especially that opening scene.
Oh yeah.
But I think that it gives. We were talking about it giving Your Name vibes.
Just because of the mountains and the big ring around something, but
and the falling and the catching each other in air. And
yep.
Blah 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 blah. And
yeah. I think the one thing that holds this one back is it doesn't have the time to develop parts of the story and characters. It feels like a speed run of a movie.
I do remember one of the things I kind of asked you when we got to the base of the Dark Head. Why are we cutting off the statues heading up? Why do they think that's going to turn the tide?
It's kind of one of those things I think you go with it. It's supposed to be, this is the thing we're supposed to do. Just, that's all you need to know.
I assume they wanted to cut off the head that was red.
Yep, but then they get intermixed, and it's like you can't just get rid of evil. And I remember thinking, yeah, I've seen this kind of thing before, but it's still it's a pretty effective story thing, and it makes sense. There has to be balance, and you can't just eradicate evil in its entirety like that. And I like that, again, because how long was this one? 18 minutes?
I doubt even that.
Something like that. The point being...
If I could find my cursor, I could tell you.
The point being, it doesn't have time to develop things because it's just a short. But if we thought of it as a movie, it'd be Yeah, you probably open with Toll, the Jedi in this. Probably open with his scene, or at least one of the early scenes. You develop Ara's character more, because the time jump was she's talking in the place with the rocks and the rain with the visions, and then it just cuts to her walking into the Jedi Council, and it's like, whoa, okay, so is how I understand this is like a jump. How far did we jump? And as I'm reading the Wikipedia summary, it's years later. That'd be a part of, like, the whole first act would be setting up the characters and doing the time jump, and just them, probably them linking up and leaving for the thing is the end of the first act. And the second act would probably be the journey there, and when they get there probably starts the third act, and then you have the clash with Bichan is who they called him. That's Daniel Day Kim, who, great, you even said, he's just so good. And yeah, you have the big showdown between them. You have the statues mixing colors. You have, her helping him decapitate Bichan, which I was like, oh.
That was a really brutal scene for how quick it was and for how little. Yet another example of the less you show and the more that's implied, the better it is. Because, I don't want to really compare it to Attack on Titan, but, we see Eren get decapitated, and it kind of turns into a meme. Sean gets decapitated, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have nightmares about it.
Yeah, and think of another Star Wars decapitation moment. It kind of looks big. Think Attack of the Clones, where Jango gets his head cut off by Windu, and he looks like a robot, and he just collapses, because we don't. It's not tangible to us because he's wearing all that armor, and we see it all. Yep. So, yeah, there's a lot of good in this, and I do like it, and I think this is good. I think it would work I'd watch this as a movie if it was animated. Yeah, I think it works better. I think if you make it live action, it's honest, boring, dull looking. Sorry.
Live action Star Wars is
a little bland,
mediocre at best sometimes. Animated Star Wars is much better because, again, animation is the ultimate medium.
It is.
You can make it do anything. You can make it look any way, and I don't have to suspend my disbelief as much with animation because it's clearly not real.
Yeah, and there's just something about the movement of people in animation that you can do. Every little wrinkle is noticeable and is a choice, whereas live action, it just happens, and it's not always in focus. But here, them just getting close to each other, you see the movement on the lines that they have in there intentionally, and the little creases. It's like they drew all of that. It's supposed to be there, and it adds so much to the character.
I do think it's funny the distinctions we make in animation. People call something like Toy Story a computer animated thing. Well, this was animated with a computer. Let's not kid ourselves. It may have been drawn on a computer or with a drawing pad. It's still animated with a computer.
Yeah. And you can have that computer animation kind of resemble the old 2D style.
I mean, things like Klaus have proven that to us, and Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse, and maybe someday in 2030 Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I wish animation in the film industry, animation like this did better.
I kind of wish people just respected the film industry more. The way they pump things out, I don't feel like making movies is very respected anymore.
Yeah, at least in the mainstream,
or at least the people that put a ton of effort into making it look good, even though sometimes it can't look good because they have 20,000 things to do.
Oh yeah, I was having a discussion with a friend the other day. It's why is it you can watch something that's 20 years old and it looks better than stuff now, and the stuff now has a bigger budget
because
even
they
without
physically
inflation.
Made stuff.
Yep, and there was more time, effort, and planning put into the special effects.
I mean, just like we were talking earlier today, some of the Wakanda Forever stuff. They're clearly not fighting anything, even though the what do you call them? Talukans? The fish people are there, in the movie. you can tell that there's no weight to the swings of the Wakandan guard. There's no weight to how M'Baku is fighting because he's not actually fighting anything. It's there's a show. I was watching the Corridor Crew the other day, and there's a show on Apple TV that has something to do with it's like dark matter, I think is what it's called or something.
Yeah.
And there's this scene where the actors are unburying themselves from snow, and the snow looks like water. And that's because the actors aren't acting against anything. There's no weight to the way that they're moving. There's no, they didn't put anything physical in their way to actually have them move. And so you're compensating in your animation for the lack of anything there.
Yep.
That's my main problem, is that computers have become a default to the point where we don't put physical things in front of actors anymore. And mocap is a different-ish story.
Yeah.
But
they blend better into the thing, the background.
Yeah, but they also create a lot of uncanny valley.
Oh, it does. I'm not saying it's perfect, but that's why in that case it matches better. But uncanny valley is a place to be.
I remember. Well, I don't remember, but the first time I heard the phrase uncanny valley used in any sort of normative capacity was, I think, the Jim Carrey
Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol, yeah.
Not even for Polar Express? You heard that word thrown around?
Not so much for Polar Express, I didn't.
Weird. That's the one where people say, yeah, it's a bit creepy. A little bit.
I don't get as creeped out by that as I do the Christmas Carol one.
Yeah, people also said it for Beowulf when that came out. And notice all three of those movies are Robert Zemeckis playing with his little toys.
Polar Express, though, is pretty iconic. I do like it's a good movie.
Yeah. Back to the special effects thing again. It's the point I then brought up was The Creator, which came out in 2023. I think it was last year, either last year or the year before. It looks really good for. It's a whole other conversation about the movie. It looks really good. The budget was like $80 million.
Is it live action or is it animated?
It's live action.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi action movie, but they used real stuff, and the special effects had time and care and planning. And $80 million, and it looked like that. It's like, yeah, that looks really good. And then you have something like what came out around that time, Marvel-wise. It was probably Wakanda Forever. That was 22. Maybe even Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. It's that's all special effects. It looks terrible, and it's because they're spread out. The graphic artists are spread out thin and overworked, and things are changing day to day.
But then you have the ways that they use it in The Mandalorian with the screens that have the background on them, and people can physically act against them. That's a cool use of it. Yeah, and it's all in how it's used.
Yep.
It should augment our artistic expressions and not be our.
It should be a tool, not the main thing.
Yes.
But back to Journey to the Dark Edge. It's really cool to see what animation can do, and most of these, I wish we got more of them. I know it's an anthology of shorts, but I
hear the third volume of it is coming out on May 4th of next year. Yeah,
which makes it it'll keep happening, but the stories stop because it's one and done's. Which it'd be interesting to see a sequel. But
I think we'd like it less if we.
We don't.
It feels a little bit more like Looney Tunes, serious Looney Tunes like this. It's not connected at all. I think if it told a cohesive story, we'd be a little bit more critical of it because it doesn't.
Well, yeah, we can be because there's more to go off of this one.
Well, I know, but look at something Over the Garden Wall's not really a good example because that's brilliant, but
and it's real short.
It's about as short as these. I guess maybe the episodes are about 5 minutes less.
It's a whole story told in 2 hours. Mm-hmm. It's basically a movie. Just cut into little vignettes that do all connect, though.
I just think that if you did something like this and made it all connect, you'd venture into the okay, now we're gonna look at this like it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we all know how
we don't need this to connect. I'm saying if one of these properties was a full show or a movie, it'd be different.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that that's not happened.
It's Disney. They suck. They do.
They
are one of multiple companies that lots of bad reports come about conditions for animators. Like a lot of companies at the time recordings come. Funny enough, you know what company has had positive environments and treatment of their animators out of all the big companies?
Out of all the big companies?
Out of all the big companies,
well,
you know.
It's not Sony.
No. It's Illumination. Out of all the, they are the ones that treat their animators. That is irony. It's like, hey, say what you want about the product. At least they're treating their workers, right? According to what's been put out there.
Okay, let's be honest here, though. It's not like Illumination's movies look bad from an animation perspective. I mean, The Grinch, it was colorful, it was bright. Actually, I really liked that one.
Yeah, I like that one fine.
The Mario movie, like, it was animated good. It just was...
Yeah, it's a whole nother conversation. It comes down to... Regardless of the artistic side of things, I'm glad they're treated well, at least according to what has been said. Mm-hmm. Because most of the industry is not that way, and the animators,
the game sphere of animation.
Yeah, I've been hearing that's up in flames right now too.
Yeah,
they are the true MVPs of series and games, the animators and graphic artists, and they need to be treated better and compensated.
I will say, everybody's given the Minecraft movie such a hard time now. I hope, I've not read any of it, but I just heard that people really hate that trailer. It's around the time that it came out that we were recording this. I watched it, and apart from how come it always has to be real people going into this game as opposed to just be a movie about the game, it doesn't look like it's animated poorly at all. I mean, like, that's what I would expect for a Minecraft movie. Unless you just made the movie itself in Minecraft, which would be interesting in a whole nother sort of capacity.
Yeah. But anyway, anything else to say about Journey to the Dark Head?
No, I think we've said a lot about
other things. Yeah.
Animation maybe as a whole.
Yeah. Anyway, as we continue through Visions on Thursdays, and at this point Marvel on Tuesdays, of course, Jake, where can they... check us out?
You can check us out on FBook. I'm sorry, that's Twitter. That's not maybe some other websites that could be. Twitter, formerly known as
now
X.
known as X.
Got it backwards. X. Say it.
I said it already.
Oh.
Now known as X.
Instagram, our ever funny TikTok. You can check us out on Google podcasting, if it's still a thing, Apple, Spotify, or you can come right back here, see our smiling faces on YouTube. If you come to YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Get notified every time we upload new episodes. Other than that, next week we look forward to
Episode 6, The Spy Dancer, animated by Studio Cachette. I believe it's Cachette.
What was that?
Cachette?
Okay, I thought you said another thing.
No, Cachet, but it's not Cachet. There's 2 T's and an E at the end, so I think it's Cachette. But we'll look into that next week.
All right.
So until then,
let's
take a bite.